Hello there, Pete Smith coming to you from Kamloops, downtown Kamloops, British Columbia, just an empty beer bottle's throw away from Geeksville, where Red Lane wrote his letters to George Baring back in the 1960s. Reference that comes into the first poem. Kamloops as rooms, Bowring as verb. Gulping caffeine to rebuzz the morning Ritalin at 4th and Lansdowne, then back home, 2 blocks east and 1 block north of Geeksville, where it isn't August the 24th, 1960 anymore. The young poets don't seem to be visible in the residual bars and dives. They're haunting the hinternet of the offices of BFA tutors or writs in res, seeking the current models of poetic behaviour, I guess. Though, thank the big muse, the 2015 Monpont Prize went to a wayward ways goose enabler, barmaid in Trona. There's not much can be done about it now, except to remind whoever cares, in our father mother's house are many stanzas, and always room for anyone with a yen to go, bowering through the streets, alleys, and archives of words for fresh catch, cockeyed and mustard keen to milk the sacred cows and burn the burgers of received opinion, etc., etc., and to come back, hooped or not, out of all looping. Next poem is from a series of 7 haibun, neon haibun. I'll read just one section for the flavour, if you will. Neon haibun. First one thing, then one thing. The concept of other was discovered in profile during the reign of Ramses III. It was something like an idea attached to the cytosine guanine triplet in FMR1 gene, regulated by enzyme anon, translated into ribonucleic acid strand by a switched-on promoter, and mutated by a surfeit of triplets into the faulty mirror image, not me. This self is as sticky as a used condom, the pharaoh said, and insisted on being buried with his phallus wrapped. Boredom can be terminal. Exaggeration produced mummification. Full frontal otherness awaited the invention of perspective, absinthe, and those complex mutations, Verlaine and Rambo. Number was neither more than nor less than a product of necessity. Boredom has been germinal in all this, and, as foster mother of intention, keeps a grave eye on the shenanigans. The ones and the ones keep tumbling in their arch specificity. Perceptions are taken for granted, keystone, not scrutinized till lately, more forensic than hail. Than hail's always the far cry. An ossified relic of ash, a knee on a rush mat. The next poem I read is called Naomi, a midrash. It's my daughter Hannah Naomi, and the voice is Ruth from the eponymous book in the Old Testament. Because she gleaned the rich man's fields, for their ripe excess, and winnowed and ground it down to palatable dry biscuits, as befit her station. And because she all foured beneath his table, for the crumbs that fibred our sluggish bowels, and because she followed his beckoning fingers' power curve to a spot beneath his trophy blanket, and because his friends reframed all this into the heroics of the kinsman redeemer, I must shout it from the middle of this field of stubble. She, with her othering righteousness, cropped by scribes to disembodied type, did kindnesses for which she's misremembered, out of a single heart, one on one. That's what she did, daughter, self-grafted root to root, her emptiness, my emptiness. I peopled her imagination with ancestors, she mine with descendants, like kith. Simile raised to the metonymic by builders of nations. Those monsters, I say, are nations of bloodbaths siphoned from a shallow grave. Leeches, patriarchs, historians, stitched into a sampler, her kindness was heart red on sand ground. And finally, this is a little thing called Cerise Ripe. It would go in a translation suite, which would begin with my version of Rimbaud's Voyelle, the poem on the vowels. So Cerise Ripe. Cerise, because it sounds like seared ice, which sounds like something on the edge of bursting, out of the yellow into cerise. Because the dictionary told me to see cherry, Cerise floats in mind's eye, circled and stemmed. Cerise bombs, exploding out of colour into taste. I see cerise, which is a deep and a dark when I need rush. Cerise, because muffled, it sounds like scared eyes and will root me in rainbow where it steps into black. And salute, Rob McLennan, long may you run. And where are we? Go Blazers, go Blazers. Why not?